on insulin because something has just happened. Did you guys hear about this?
Yep.
Okay. Eli Lilly announced today that they are voluntarily capping insulin costs for patients at $35 a month. They'll also lower the list price of their products and improve generic competition. This is huge news, and I commend Eli Lilly. It makes two things very clear. First, capping insulin at $35 is good policy. If Eli Lilly can do it, so should we in Congress, plain and simple. It's been adapted already in red and blue states. Now one of the biggest manufacturers is doing it. So the time has come to get this done in Congress. While I hope other manufacturers follow suit, there's no substitute for locking this down as mandatory and permanent for all Americans. We Democrats as a caucus have been pushing this for over a year. This is a good step forward, a good breakthrough, but we are going to keep pushing until we pass legislation so all insulin by all companies is at $35 for everybody. Okay? All right. Now, on this great report, first I want to thank our great Debbie Stabenow, head of the DPCC. When she gets into an issue, she rolls up her sleeves and she gets into the details, and she uses both the combination of her deep understanding of policy and her outstanding ability and instinct to message, and we get great results. So we're very proud of the DPCC in general and today on this report. And then we have some of our great chairs here, Senator Wyden, the estimable leader of the Finance Committee, Senator Sanders, the estimable leader of the Budget Committee, and Senator Whitehouse. See, I didn't want to get into comparison of adjectives. So once you were estimable, they were all estimable. Estimable Steve Whitehouse, the head of the Budget Committee, all for their tremendous work. All our committees came together and worked hard on this issue. Okay. The last 2 years under the Senate Democratic majority, we reduced the deficit by over $1.7 trillion and invested in economic opportunity for American families throughout the country. To the contrast, House Republicans' first action in this Congress, if you can believe this, was to protect the ultra-wealthy and tax cheats to the tune of $114 billion. And then say to middle-class families and those struggling to get to the middle class, you pay for it. We're giving them the tax breaks, and you're going to pay for it one way or another. Well, if you thought that was enough for these folks, it wasn't. Their fantastical plan, I call it fantastical, to balance the budget in 10 years would decimate the middle class, decimate the wallets of every American family, and undo the progress we've made over the last 2 years. Our report today throws a spotlight on the dangerous, draconian cuts in the Republican budget proposals and their impact throughout the country. Listen to this. Here's what the Republican plan would do. This is what they're supporting. First, they would push millions of Americans off Social Security benefits and raise the retirement age to 70. We have fought and struggled to get Social Security for people. It's harder and harder for them in their retirements to exist, and they want to cut people off Social Security. That is just incredible. Second, they want to privatize Medicare, gutting seniors' benefits and threatening their access to services. And they want to, and if you privatize Medicare, which has always been a public program, you can be sure every single beneficiary of Medicare is going to get cuts, long waits, less quality health care. Disaster. Disaster. They want to privatize Social Security. Hand over all the money that Americans have put in week by week, month by month, and hand it over to Wall Street. Well, we learned what happened in 2008 when that happened. Very bad idea. And they want to cut Medicaid by $2.2 trillion. Let's not forget Medicaid. Medicaid helps so many people. It helps those on disabilities. It helps seniors. But it also helps lots of younger, middle-aged families in their 30s and 40s and 50s who have parents in nursing homes, who have parents have home health care. These families can't afford it. If Medicaid goes away, they lose out, and these families start struggling. So this hurts across the board. And then, not to leave out the poor, they want to cut everybody. They want to cut SNAP benefits for families. Who in America in 2023 wants to take food out of the mouth of hungry children? When we know when a kid is hungry, they can't learn, they can't socialize, their whole ability to move forward is cut off. And there's much, much more, as my colleagues will show you. So, yep, Republicans, they love to tout themselves as the party for average Americans, but the proof, my friends, is in this pudding that Debbie Stabenow put together. This pudding shows what they really want to do. So don't believe what they say, believe what they do. When Republicans help tax cheats, when they call for cutting Social Security, when they call for putting Medicare and Medicaid on the chopping block and cut taxes for billionaires and mega corporations, we know who they're for. The ultra-wealthy, the well-connected, the big corporations. We Democrats will continue to look out for those who are struggling to stay in the middle class. We will look out for those struggling to get to the middle class. We will continue to fight for the American people. We'll make sure our veterans are taken care of. And we'll fight for seniors to retire with dignity and benefits they've earned. We are going to fight for middle-class families. And if the past 2 years prove anything, when Democrats fight, we win.